What's up guys, we're 𝗗𝗢𝗣𝗙𝗘. Today I'll be showing you a really easy way to make hard sample beats. If you do end up enjoying the video, make sure you do hit that sub button and turn post notifications on because it helps out. With that being said, let's go ahead and get started. Now this is the sample that I am using and it's from this channel. I'll link it in the description, but I just want to show you how to actually search for stuff like this. So basically what you can do, if you look at this whole thing, what you can type in is the instrument or instrument type you're looking for. So right here, right, you can kind of X out everything else and then put solo, or you could put phrases or any other term that you think might fit. Okay. And then after that, you could usually put like copyright free or something like that if you want to be a little bit more specific. And that is just one way you can search for this type of stuff. And obviously not everything that you want will pop up right away. You'll have to do some digging, but that's just kind of what you want to do if you want to find stuff like this. All right. All right, so now we're gonna go over some essentials just to make this whole process a lot easier so you understand the components. That way you have full control over the sample. So it doesn't matter the length, the rhythm, you can all change that. So the first thing I like to do, because I'll probably want to make a trap beat, right? I would reverse this. And when you reverse it, it just automatically kind of sounds like dark and gives that mood that trap has. Okay, but you don't need to do this. I just like to do that first just so I can kind of hear how it sounds already. I already have my chop, as you can see, just to save time. So I want to go over how you can have control over this, right? You don't have to look for the perfect loop anymore. So if we go in here, if you right click, there are three tools: the audio editor, pitch corrector, and time warper. Audio editor is how you'll chop it usually, right? Pitch corrector is how you'll find the key. It won't be exact all the time, and I usually just use my ear because when you use your ear, even if it's off, it'll sound a lot better. But if you're not at that point, you don't really know how to do that, you can use this and it'll give you a pretty good estimate. You can also change certain notes that are being played within the sample. And time warper is how you edit the length and the rhythm of your sample. So I'll show you real quick. So let's say you like this part right here. You want that to loop. You can take one of these markers or create a new one, but I'll just use these, and you can put it within those 4 bars. So we'll look at these transients, and I'll talk about that in a minute, but you want to put it kind of exactly on that part. Okay, and obviously this is off a little bit. I wonder if we can slide it. Okay, and then you can literally edit the rhythms and stuff. Okay, you can change how fast things work, how slow they are. You have full control. Okay, so let's exit this. Let's go into audio editor. So with this, usually music, everything operates on kind of a 4-bar loop system. Even if it's 16-bar melody, most of the time they operate on 4s. So knowing that, you want to find 4 transients. And the reason I said 4 transients is because you don't want to necessarily look for a perfect loop, because I feel like that's the old way of doing it. Now you have far more control. You don't have to find that perfect part, because I remember sampling and you would find something that sounds good, but it would be so hard to use because it was completely off beat, right? And some of the parts probably was off key, so you wouldn't use that part that you like. So you have to find a different part. Now you have full control. So the transients you want to look for are like these dips. So it'll kind of be like an upside down V, or a right side up V. So you can see it'll swoop in, peak, swoop out, and that's pretty much how most of them go, right? They swoop in, swoop out, and that's how you can tell where those transients are, these like peaks. But this is the shape you want to look for. And with this, say you like this part but you don't like it in this composition, you can stitch this. Okay, so you can pull this in the playlist, and if you like this part, you're like, I really like this part next, you can kind of do a real-time kind of chopping. That way you don't have to go through that process. Okay, and then you can kind of pick 4 parts or 2. So if you can pick 2, or you can pick 4 main parts like this, you can just make them loop later. All right, so just pick the part you like, put it in the playlist. Okay, and then after that, what you'll do right here is you'll consolidate this. So we'll go to from track start and turn off the effects. That way it's fresh and you can manipulate it later without it being overly processed. Delete this, and this is our new little sample. Okay. So now, and I'll just put S for sample. So now this is where you use the pitch corrector. Okay. So we go to pitch corrector. This is where you can change the notes. But this is where for like people that can't use their ear yet, you could just go up to scissors right here, this little icon, go to scale, and it'll pretty much find the key for you. Now, usually like for something dark like this, it's probably going to be in a harmonic minor. Okay. But this says it's in G minor. Okay. And then you would probably grab a scale over or whatever you use. Okay. And then kind of put your music down, right? You can also change the key of some of the notes here that's being played. All right. So that's pretty much the rundown. I think we can probably delete this. And then after that, you will put it on beat. So you will look at these transients. So I would look somewhere in between. And if you turn this stretch icon on, okay, you can stretch this across. And then you try to get this transient to be a little more accurate on beat, because this is where the kick or 808 would hit, and it'll sound pretty good. And then just to make this simpler, let's just chop this and just make this like a loop. Okay. Now the very last thing I want to go over is well, I guess we can just play this. Right, and we just forced this loop. We literally forced it, right? Now increments. So when pitching, you can choose any pitch you want, but some that sound good just because of how music is created are 3, 5, and 7. So -3 cents, that's pretty much going down. If you go in the piano roll, I can't. So it's going from F sharp. If you go down 3, 1, 2, 3, right, and it's changing key like that. So you have -3, and then you have -5 or 5 in increment, and then 7. Or you can go you go the opposite way. Okay. So that is the rundown. Now everything else will be pretty much easy. I'm just gonna go ahead and make a beat with this. All right, so quickly we're just gonna go over effects. Now I'm just show you the stuff that I already have, and this is why I save this template, is so I don't have to load this stuff up. So a lot of you probably recognize this. So here is where the sample is going into. I'll pop it up. Okay. And I think doing this stuff in order is important. Okay. So everything we went through, if you do that in order, you'll have the control you need, right? You won't have to backtrack. So we have like this, which will pretty much, well, I'll just show you this, right? So we have this as just a preset, and it's just to give it that old dusty kind of feel to it. Okay, and I cut out a lot of this stuff here, the higher frequencies and lower ones, so that it won't clash with the bass and the drums, right? And then a lot of this twinkle stuff is just to make it a lot more crispy, so we can hear like the actual melody in it, since we took out so much of it. Ambience, just reverb. Okay, reverse effect. Right, and then we have a halftime, which probably don't need to use it. Kind of like those tones. Okay, so these are just some effects you can use. Now what I would do for something like this for a sample is heavily EQ it. So I would do like a dip like this, and then a hard dip like this, and you can kind of just thin it up a bit. Like if it sounds something like that, that's usually good for like trap stuff. You want it to sound a little muffled, but not too muffled. All right, so those are the effects. Now I think we can actually start pulling in some drums. All right, so now we just throw some little drums on here. Okay, now we have like a little loop, right? And obviously you would spend a lot more time doing yours, right? But I'm just trying to get the essentials out there, so later videos we make, I don't have to explain this stuff. Okay, so let's go in here, and usually I use my ear. I remember it was a G minor, right? And that's why I use my ear, because it may not be accurate to the exact scale it's using. change those sounds, but I'm gonna finish this. 3-5. All right, simple stuff here. I'm gonna just make this a lot easier. I'm gonna change some of these sounds too, just to fit the vibe. And that's pretty much it, honestly, right? It doesn't need to be complicated all the time. Let's see, we need a perk. I want to change. Let's go here. Probably something sharper. Let me see. Something like that. And then with the hi-hats, we need to edit this. Okay, and then I want to change this snare real quick. Maybe something like that. Okay, I think that's good. Very simple beat here, right? Oh wait, we need to pull these over. Well, we could just do this. That works. Now real quick before I end, I am making the outro beat for the video so that we can have an outro beat for the video. One thing I did forget to mention is you can unreverse your sample. So I just pretty much copy this, right? And then what you can do is you can unreverse it. So basically this is reverse, and if you want to add some like musical elements, you can unreverse it, because remember this is an instrument. Right, and I'm gonna use this part somewhere, you'll hear this in the outro beat, but yeah, I just wanted to show you that for what we want to do. Okay, and of course at this point you can go way further, right? I'll probably dip this out, and you can add melodies, right? But we're not gonna focus on that. I just want to keep this straightforward. That's gonna be for this video. Hopefully you enjoyed. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.